Hello everybody and welcome to Docusnap. In the last video we saw how to inventory the IT network with Docusnap. Today we want to focus on the output of the data. Docusnap takes inventory of such a huge amount of data. For that reason it is very important to use intelligent functions to filter and sort the data that's important for me. Every user has a different perspective on the data. An IT admin needs an overview of the structure of the IT network. An accountant, on the other hand, needs only a flat list of the systems. For him, it's more important to have all financial records, leasing and maintenance contracts. For this reason, Docusnap offers different perspectives on the same dataset. Let's check it out. We are here in the already known start screen of Docusnap in the inventory section. When I open the client up here, I can see the structure of Docusnap. First of all, we have the infrastructure area. That is a technical view of the IT network with the domains below. And below them, there are the different IT systems. In the assets area, you will find flat lists of all systems that are hierarchically displayed in the upper area. With the sites area, we have moved away from the technical point of view to a site-related view. Here you will find all systems sorted by their locations. For example, the site London, branch office, ground floor, different rooms, and here we have a rack, and in the rack there are the different systems. And last but not least, the organization area, where you will find additional information like contracts and financial reports and tasks which you can connect to the different systems. How this can look in a practical case, I will show you by using the example of a Windows server. We move to the infrastructure and choose a domain. Under the domain, we go to servers and choose the domain controller. Here you can see different timestamps, and these correspond to the different snapshots. This way, we always have an overview of the changes in our IT network. Choosing the latest snapshot, you can already see that we have a lot of information about this domain controller. The top item, General, gives you an overview of the most important information, like OS, active users, free physical memory, and so on. In my opinion, also very interesting is the next point, roles. Here you can see directly which roles are assigned to the system. Also interesting is the software list below here, which shows all software products that are installed on the system. The manual collecting and updating of this information alone would be a huge effort, and Docusnap takes this work off our hands completely. Another impressive proof of the amount of data Docusnap collects on each system is the systems report over here. After just a few seconds, we receive a 26-page report with all the data on this domain controller. Docusnap takes inventory of such a huge amount of data that is so important to use intelligent functions to filter and sort the data. The systems overview report, for example, gives us a simple overview of all the collected data. I close the domain and find in the infrastructure level under reports, infrastructure, the systems overview report. This report gives us a compact overview of our IT infrastructure on just 4 pages. I see here, for example, that we have 10 workstations, 16 servers, and 12 Linux systems in our infrastructure. This was just one example of our Docusnap standard reports. In total, we have over 200 reports, and it's getting more and more. Of course, there are also a few reports that are particularly popular with our customers, and I want to show you these now. For the IT security officer, it is of course always important to know who has administrator rights on which systems. This is answered in the report Administrative Rights System Recursive. We find this report in our domain, reports, security windows, and here it is. Here I can now see which user has local administrator rights on which systems. And furthermore, I can also see which group memberships have given him these rights, and I can also trace the origin of these rights. Another point that is very difficult to check manually is whether services that are configured with an autostart are actually running. We can also check this quick and easily with the Docusnap standard report. Just a little above our administrative rights report, we find the active services status stopped report. And after just a few seconds, I can quickly and compactly see which systems are configured with an autostart but are not running. This report can be very helpful in finding errors. These were just two quick examples of the helpful and extensive standard reports in Docusnap. But Docusnap is of course not a standalone software. We can also export the automatically inventoried and individually prepared data for further processing. Let me show you two examples. We go back to the domain level, and here we find the point summary. Here are various evaluations for this domain stored, including the software list. This list is, as you can see here and on the scroll bar, very large and contains all software products that are installed on the systems in this domain. To make this list a little bit clearer, you're able to install a filter line by right-clicking. Enable filter. Here we have our filter line. Now I simply filter for all systems that are installed more than 4 times in our domain. This reduces the size of the list significantly. Again, with a right-click, I can now start an Excel export. I save the file, and it opens automatically. That easy, I have generated a flat Excel list, which I can process as desired. Additionally, the documentation section offers the possibility to create different overviews. First, I close our Excel list and switch from the inventory section to the documentation section. And above here in the ribbon bar, we find the overviews wizard. First, you can choose a client. This is especially interesting for IT service providers who want to inventory the customers. In our case, this client is OK. Go next. And now you can select a domain. And in the third step, you can choose which overview you want to create. I select the systems overview and select the other ones and click next. Finally, I get a summary and would be now possible to schedule the execution of this documentation. We don't want to schedule it and want to start it instead now. The wizard now collects all the data, creates documents and stores them. After a few seconds, everything is completed, and here I can see that it is successfully. I close the wizard, and over all wizards below here open path. I come to the standard folder, and under Docusnap Sports, my domain overview, you will find the recently created computer list in the formats HTML, MDC, and this Excel list. When I open the Excel list, I am sure it looks familiar to many administrators. I have here the system names, the IP addresses, MAC addresses, domains, and so on. Every administrator will know it. It's a lot of work to create these lists and especially to keep them up to date. Docusnap takes over this task again and does it completely automatically and recurrently. Excel lists are all good and well, but for a quick overview, maps are much better suited. For this reason, Docusnap offers the option of outputting every inventory data in form of maps. A good example of this is the network map. Every administrator knows how tedious it is to draw a network map with Microsoft Visio. And when you have finished, it is already outdated. That's why I'm going to show you now how quick and easy it is to create a network map with Docusnap. And in addition, like almost everything else in Docusnap, this can be executed automatically and recurrently. I'm in the documentation section and choose the network map wizard up there in the ribbon bar. First two steps are again selecting the client and the domain. I just want to have our main domain and go on. Step 3 shows me the inventory data and gives me the possibility of whether I want to have a routing map created with the network map, but I choose to have just a network map and I can preview it. In the preview window, I can change the layout if I wish, but I like the original best, so I apply it and go on. Like in every wizard, we get a summary, and point 5 is the scheduling. I can say I want to create the network map recurringly every week at Sunday evening at 11 p.m. And so I will have an up-to-date network map every Monday morning when I come to the office. However, for our example, the one-time creation is quite sufficient. And so I deselect the schedule and click Start. The wizard now collects the data, creates a network map, and stores it. After a few seconds, everything is completed successfully, and I can close the wizard. Now I can see here on the standard maps that I have an up-to-date network map. Furthermore, with the button All Wizards, I can open the standard path again and have here our client, and now have here the point maps, network map, and see that I have the network map either in a Microsoft Visio format, picture format, or also as an HTML. Opening the HTML, you can see that it is not only a map, but it's also interactive, and by hovering a system, I get a short summary of the system data. Also very interesting is the topology map, which shows us the topology of the individual switches installed in our network. I switch back to Docusnap, and in the documentation section under Standard Maps, I open the topology map. After just a few seconds, I get a complete overview about our topology. And on the left-hand side, there are the different switches. By choosing one of them, I get a detailed switch panel view and can easily see which systems are connected to which port. We have now taken a look at some Microsoft Excel and Visio documents. But of course, it is also possible to run Docusnap without installing these two software products. Beside all these systems, Docusnap also provides a lot of information about the various applications installed in the network. Therefore, I change from documentation to inventory. I open my client, infrastructure, domain, and here in the reports section, I find the Microsoft Exchange, and in about the middle, the mailboxes report. In the upcoming pop-up, I choose sort by mailbox size and get a few seconds later a handy overview about who uses the mailboxes most. Just below the mailboxes report, we find the mobile devices mailbox, and this report is also very interesting because it gives me a brief overview of the mobile devices that connect to my Exchange, and I can also see when the last synchronization took place. That was just a short summary of the extensive documentation possibilities with Docusnap. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching and bye-bye.